8 a.m. on April 10th. I had a lot of dreams last night and they were freaking crazy. Like, I almost filled up a whole page, so I'm going to have to just get right to it. So this video isn't too long. Okay, so in the first dream, I went to go to the tanning salon and they were like, you can't use our services today because she like went on the computer to check me in and she was like, you can't use our services today because you owe $10,000. And I was like, how the hell would I even owe $10,000? Like, the membership cost isn't even that much per month that like I would be able to accrue that kind of a balance or whatever. And she was like, I'm sorry, you just can't use the services until this is paid off. And I was like, there's no way I'm giving you guys $10,000. And I was like, you better call somebody in here. Like, this needs to be settled. This is not okay. I don't owe that much money. So then she called in this manager and this this woman like brought me into an office and she was like, looked on the computer and she was like, yeah, it does say that you owe $10,000. And I was like, there's no way that's possible. And then she was like, yeah, you're right, that's weird. And then came around the desk to where I was and like took her shirt off and had the chest of a man. And so then I realized that it was like a trans man, not trans man, trans woman. Normally I wouldn't make a mistake like that, but I just woke up and it was like the chest of a man. Anyway, so I was like, why is this person taking their shirt off for me? And it was like they were trying to get me to have sex with them to pay back the $10,000. And just started like stripping down naked. And she was like, had the chest of a man, but then had gotten the area down there done like a woman. And she was like, well, everyone wants to see it, so everyone gets to see it. Like, because I guess people had asked so many times if she had the procedure to, get female parts. And I was like, whoa, this is not okay. Like, you can't be just like getting naked in front of me like this. I don't know what you thought this was, but this is not okay. And so I was like, I need to talk to somebody else. And I went to leave and go back out to the front desk, and she just like followed me out there completely naked. And there were like other guests in there and other employees, and they were just like stunned, like didn't know what to do. And this woman came up and she was like, should I call the police? I'm gonna call the police. And like she went to go outside, and then this trans woman like followed her outside totally naked. And then like it was like the shift change for the shop, and like the employees were just like, okay, well, I'm out of here because I'm not going to deal with this. And so then like these other women who hadn't seen what happened walked in, but there were still like the customers in there who had seen it. And then like other customers came in, so it started to get like a little bit crowded because it's like a small place. And these two kids were in there. And like normally there wouldn't be kids in a place like that, but I guess they like, if they were in there, they would be like just waiting while their parents went in for a couple minutes to use the tanning bed or the booth or whatever. And this the employee was like trying to listen to like one of the other people about what had just happened. She was like, what happened? And then she turned to me and she was like, what happened? And I was like, your manager like came out completely naked and like just like walked outside and like stopped the woman who was gonna call the police, and then like got in a car and left. And like all of this, like got in the car completely naked and just left. And then this one of the kids was like no, and came over and was like doing this like woke thing, like we weren't allowed to say what happened because the person was trans. I was getting this vibe off of the kid that the kid like wanted to be trans too. And this is, I'm not a transphobic person at all. It's just a dream that I had. But then the kid started physically attacking me, and the parent was just like standing there like this was something that the kid just did all the time, and they didn't know how to deal with it. And so I was like, okay, well, this is assault now, and like I couldn't defend myself because it was a kid. You know, I don't want to end up the one that like gets in trouble after everything that just happened. And so like and so I was like, okay, well, now I'm gonna call the police. And so I was like trying to call the police about the kid. I believe that was all of, yeah. So then I woke up from that dream. And then in the next dream, this one got really crazy. Man. So in the next dream, I like owned this this house. It was like a 3-bedroom house out in like some kind of tweaker town, like Yelm or something, or you know, like just one of the like smaller towns around here. And I went down to the house to like check on it because I hadn't moved in yet, and I went with my dad, and it was like trashed. Like these squatters had moved in, and like there was just like they had like drawn on the walls, and there was just like crap all over the place, and like this like dirty mattress and stuff. And like God, my dad was with me, and he was like, well, whatever, I'm gonna go to bed. And he was like, you should come to bed too. And he was like trying to get me to get in the bed with him. And I was like, first off, like I'm not in this situation at all with the house like this. You know, I was like, I don't know why you're being like this. And then I was like, plus like I don't trust men, and not even my dad. And the reason for that is because I really don't know him. Like he's been in prison most of my life, and like homeless and drug addicted, and like I just wouldn't get into a bed with him. It just wouldn't happen. So then he was like, oh, I can't believe you'd insult your father this way, and was like throwing a fit because I wouldn't get into the bed with him. He's like, that's sick that you would have any kind of thoughts that da 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 da. And I was like, I don't even know you, man. Like I understand that you're my father, and I like try to have this like cool, like, you know, or family relationship, but in reality, you've been in prison my whole life. You're a stranger to me. Stranger danger. So then like the tweaker squatter people came back, and this guy came after me, like physically attacking me. And I don't know how I did it because, you know, it's a dream, but I like he was grabbing me, and I like ripped his arms off. And then I started like smacking him with his own arms, and it chased him off. And then like this other guy who had been like backing him up, who like he was like kind of coming at me too. I started chasing him, and he ran off. And then I heard them, like he was like, yeah, I didn't know what to do, and this woman with 4 arms came after me, and I had this whole kind of like Shiva vision with the arms or whatever. But no, I was just like hitting him with his own arms. And then I was like, I just need to get out of here. So I started walking, and I wasn't sure where, because like we had arrived there in a car, but the car was gone. So I was like, I'm just gonna like leave this area. And I started walking, and I like walked onto this bridge, but then the bridge like turned into a ferry, like a ferry boat. And it was like the dream shifted into this other dream where like it was still that small town, but it was like there was this whole story about like the small town, like about all these people that would like disappear, go missing and stuff. And they were like getting rid of the undesirables. And so I was on this ferry, and there were all these people like sitting like where the windows were, but they were just like sobbing, crying, and like looking straight ahead. And I was like, what the hell? Like just like 100 people or whatever, like sitting along the windows, sobbing and crying. And I was like, what is going on? And then we finally got to where the ferry docked, and it was like this big cliff wall. It was like we were at the border of Canada, but it wasn't Canada, obviously. And there was like this big cliff wall and this waterfall coming down, and these people at the top were like playing drums, and they were like throwing like molten fire over the side of the cliff wall. And it was like this like initiation kind of thing to like they like these people who were shipped off out of this town, they couldn't go back. And so they called it like the test was called fight or flight. And it was called that because there were like ropes going down the waterfall, and they had to like climb up against the waterfall while like there were like other people climbing ahead of them, and molten lava was being thrown, and so people would get hit with the lava, and they would like fall, and they would be like falling and hitting the people below them. And while people were like trying to climb up, trying to remember if that was all of that one. Yeah, it was like really like visually intense to see that. And like that whole dream was dramatic with all the people crying, and like the you could like it was almost like drone footage going up the waterfall, and seeing the people how they were like climbing and falling. And so that was crazy. And then I woke up from that dream. And then the next dream I had, I was like flying in and landing. It was like an army dream, but we were in civilian clothing, and we were in Korea. I don't know if we were in North Korea or South Korea. They just said Korea. And the city looked like something from like Eon Flux. It was like really like super modern, like gorgeous, like everything was like tropical and stuff, but then like these super modern buildings that were like all white. And like the airport was like this big like circular building, and the runway and everything was in the middle of it, where all the airplanes like parked and took off and everything. So we landed in the airport, and I was like carrying this bag, and we had to go up this escalator, but it was like the escalator was like this like just fabric sheet that came down, and then the ledge was up really, like I had to like climb up onto this ledge, and I was like, how the hell do people do this? And like once you got on the escalator, I had to like grab the fabric like for dear life in my suitcase and like hang on to it as it was going up. And it reminded me, I was like, man, this is some ableist shit, like how do people get up this? And it reminded me of when I was in Shanghai. They had, instead of like regular escalators, it was just like this flat slope that went down, but it was at like an extreme angle. And I got on this thing, and I was wearing army boots, and I'm like physically fit. Like this was like back when I like very first got out of the military. And I got on it and I freaking slipped and fell and like bruised my hip. And so I was and this is like in real life in Shanghai, this is how they do people. Like, how do, like, elderly people must be injuring themselves all the time on that thing. I have no idea, like, how they think that that's like a functional escalator. It was ridiculous. And I was even like, I fell even though I was like holding on to the side of it because I was like, this is sketchy when I was like first getting onto it. Like, the only thing I could think was that, like, in Japan, they have those TV shows where they like prank people and people get hurt and then like everybody thinks that it's funny or whatever. Like, I was like, am I on one of those shows right now? Like, are they recording people so that they can like make fun of us later? Like, in America, that shit would not fly. People would get sued. But anyways, that was that dream. And then the next dream I had, I was like, in, it was like Port Angeles or Port Townsend or something. And I was hanging out with this chick, and somebody had like released a balloon up into the air, a red balloon, and she was like, I hate it when people do that. Like, they know that it's bad for the environment. And she like got out this pellet gun out of her car and just like aimed it up and shot, and like in one shot down the balloon. And I was like, damn, you're hella good at that. That was a good shot. And so then she went and got the balloon and brought it back, and it had like all these like candy chocolates and stuff. So she gave me one of the chocolates. And then like we met up with this guy who he had like, we met up with him, but then she wasn't there anymore, and it was these two guys, and one of the guys had like his great grandmother had died, and he inherited her house and, you know, the estate, everything that she had. And so he brought me along to go like look for anything that was important, documents or like, you know, jewelry, stuff like that, to get all that stuff in case somebody like tried to break in. And we were going through her stuff, and she was into like all this like 1920s like Asian kind of like yeah, not like modern Asian stuff, but like all the like 1920s. So she had like, it was like a lot of like fur and velvet and like really cool like jade jewelry and stuff. And it was just like really cool looking through all of her stuff. There's like other parts that weren't like, there was some guy showed up, and he was like trying to claim that he was family too, and he kept trying to like get away from us and like go through this stuff, but we didn't know who he was, and so we were like trying to like watch him to make sure that he like wasn't stealing anything, and that wasn't really like that interesting though. So I guess it's not like tons of dreams that I had last night, but I like filled up like most of the page in my journal here, writing it down. And there was even like more, there was like other dreams that like I thought I wrote it down because I wrote it down in the dream, and I didn't actually write it down, or like it just kind of like wasn't as interesting as the rest of it. So I don't really remember, but pretty wild night with the fire waterfall thing, and the tweakers like ripping off the guy's arms and stuff. The trans guy or the trans woman that was trying to show everybody that she had a vagina, and that was a crazy night. I woke up actually at like 7:30. I had to go to the bathroom and stuff, and I was thinking about going back to sleep, but then I was like, I had enough dreams. Like, it's gonna be a long video. Oh crap, it's already been 20 minutes. Yeah, I better post this. So that was April 10th.